Okay, we're officially live. I'm in the studio. We're live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, also live in the Discord. Welcome everyone. This is the stream I do every Wednesday for earnings. On deck today, we have CSCO, ticker symbol CSCO. Yeah, we got a lot of Cisco bulls in the house. It's a good company. We'll go over the financials and fundamentals here in a minute. So that's going to be one that's going to be fun to watch. BNGO, not really too interested in it, but I know a lot of people trade it. It's a penny stock. But yeah, looking for some upside on Cisco. You know, we had a couple of Cisco bears in the group. We'll see who wins the battle today. Okay, regular session is officially closed. There's the bell. That's the closing bell. Hey, what's up, Porterhouse? Hey, Jay Lopez. Hoping Cisco goes up. Yeah. We have my other screen pulled up on the side, so when the data does come out, I can give everyone the EPS, the revenue, and perhaps some guidance. I'm going to zoom in on Cisco's chart. It's a 1 minute chart. Same thing with BNGO. All right, so I think we got a couple minutes before the data actually comes out. Cisco is supposed to report in 5 minutes, 9:05 p.m. Eastern. Their forecast, well, their consensus EPS is 0.87, forecast revenue 13.76 billion. And they're currently trading well above their anchored VWAP. Anchored VWAP's around 53 bucks. They're trading, what they close at today? They closed the regular session at $59.19. There is a little bit of action right now. This could be anticipation of the earnings data. And it's getting a bullish move here. Maybe the data got released early. Let me refresh my screen. It's up almost 50 cents a share in after hours. Okay, I don't think they've released yet. So we'll see if this is just, this might not be the right move, but, hopefully it is. I know we got more bulls than bears on Cisco. Technically, they're not supposed to report for another 3 minutes, so just kind of hang on a second. Got someone in Discord got a $61 call on Cisco. Okay, I hope that works out for you. He's trading at $59.70. I mean, if we do get a bullish move, that $61 call will probably end up in the money tomorrow. We'll see. Welcome, everyone. Got almost 200 people tuning in now, probably mostly Twitter. CSCO Earnings and BNGO. BioNano. BNGO. All right, let's see here. That's some key things we want to see on CSCO earnings is we want to see the Splunk integration and revenue. That's something I know investors are wanting to see. We also want to see AI-related opportunities and revenue growth. Of course, revenue growth, that's a given. Normalization of customer demand and order trends, impact of restructuring and operating margin and gross margin performance. There is still some supply chain dynamics going on. So let's just kind of see what happens. Yeah, this is just anticipatory price action. The data is not out yet, so we did get a little bullish move up, and after hours to 59.78, and now it's coming back down to kind of where it closed the regular session at. So let's just be a little patient and wait for the earnings data, specifically the EPS, revenue, and some guidance. Had some people taking profit before the regular session ended, taking profit on some CSCO calls. John was up 57% on that. No, it's a good move to, take profit. If you already had an existing play before the earnings, what I would do, my opinion, obviously I can't tell y'all what to do, but my opinion is if you have an open position and there's profit on the table, why take that through the earnings? That's just unnecessary risk in my opinion. So what John did was he took profit 57% on some calls before the regular session ended, but he kept the runner. And that's okay to do, especially if you have multiple contracts, maybe you had 4 contracts or something. Take profit on 3, nice little profit there, and then you can leave 1 runner, see if you can get more out of it through the earnings. But to hold your entire position through the earnings, a little bit risky in my book, okay, in my opinion. All right, let me see here. Now CSCO, okay, here's a move. Wow, almost up to $62. I was over here yapping my jaw, and this thing's over here rallying or pumping. Okay, so we definitely bullish reaction so far. It is officially 4:05 p.m. Eastern, so the data's got to be out. Let me check my source page over here. Okay. So wicked up to $62, almost to the penny. Coming back down a little bit now. It's basically, candles flickering because of the volatility with the earnings. I want to see how CSCO reacted to the previous earnings. Let me pull that up. I just use tipranks.com. It's free information. You don't need a premium account or anything for that. They always beat EPS. That's a given with CSCO. They just got a great business. Okay. All right. Yeah. Some people online here took some lotto plays for CSCO, some calls. When I do a lotto play, I'm willing to lose it all. It's kind of like buying a scratch-off ticket for what I do. But okay, let me get some EPS and revenue data. Okay. All right, let me go back to the sticks real quick. Okay, yeah, it reversed. Now it's down to $58.30 a share in after hours. So had a nice wake up to 62. Now it's pulling back. Let's see if there's a little tug of war going on here. Okay, let me refresh this source page here. Okay, I got some data. We share this with everyone. So here we go. Earnings per share. Let me see if I can. Okay, I'll keep the candlesticks on the left over here for CSCO. Okay. EPS, the forecast was 0.87. They reported 0.91, so solid beat on EPS. Revenue forecast 13.77 billion. Actually reported 13.84 billion. So double beat on CSCO. That's good. Of course, we need to see what the guidance is. That initial reaction was bullish, but then we're getting some selling here. Let's see if we get some dip buyers and it comes back up. Ukulele on Discord. Yeah, I mean, we got to get some buyers stepping up to the plate here with the earnings data. If we start getting some buying momentum, I think it definitely could. I mean, it already tapped 62, but that was just kind of, I don't want to call it a fake out, just kind of like, again, like a anticipatory move, if you will. All right, let me post some stuff on YouTube. All right, so some financial metrics, and this is kind of what I thought was going to happen. So they did beat forecast revenue. However, the year-over-year number was down 6%. So that's not really showing some growth on revenue. Let's see some more earnings highlights. Product orders increased by 20% year over year with strong demand for security and observability. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but overall, total revenue was down 6% year over year. So cash flow from operating activities rose 54% year over year. So, cash flow has increased. That's good. Okay, they did release some guidance here. All right. Let's see here. Revenue guidance. Fiscal year 2025 revenue guidance of 55.3 billion to 56.3 billion. EPS. Okay, got that. Q2 fiscal year 2025 expected revenue. Let's switch over to BNGO real quick because they are getting some positive movement. I don't think BNGO reports until 4:15. No, it's supposed to be 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll check on them on a minute. I know most people are here for Cisco, so let me just keep going forward here. Business segment performance, security revenue surged 100% year over year. Collaboration revenue declined by 3%. And they got some good data here. It's just their overall revenue was down 6% year over year. I think investors are not really liking that. They did announce a share buyback of $40 million 40 million shares at $49.56 per share, with 3.2 billion remaining authorized for repurchases. So that 40 million, that's just a drop in the bucket to the 3.2 billion that's already been approved, and that's for the buyback. Look, a couple takeaways. Cisco's strong order growth, especially in security and observability, underscores solid demand. However, declines in core networking could temper short-term enthusiasm. I think that's why we're getting a negative reaction. So it's declines in the core networking. That's going to be a short-term negative thing. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. They raised margins and exceeded guidance. Cisco's strategic pivots in security and AI provide a bullish outlook for its stock. So look at it this way. I can't really speak on options, but if you hold stock, I definitely still think this is a good long-term stock. And look at it this way: if we do overall get a bearish reaction, consider that getting a discount on the stock, I think. Let me just see what they were. I was trading net before. I'll go over some trades that I closed out today. Made like $300 today. Pretty good day for me. Tuesday. Wednesday. I just want to look at some of the financials that Cisco had going into the earnings. So they had a PE ratio of 16.5. We can cross-check that with their competitors and peers, see where they fall in the range there. They do pay a dividend, 2.7%. EPS 2.54. That's trailing 12 months. Obviously, they're a profitable company. And yeah, this is kind of what I was looking at here. The year-over-year numbers, even going into the earnings, weren't too great. You could see their positive net income. They always do a good job making a profit. But, Q4 2023, they had like $4 billion in profit in that quarter. And now they're down to $2 billion in profit. So their net profit's been cut in half. And you can attribute that to some of the overall revenue being down 6% year over year. Less revenue, less net profit, right? Let me go back a page here. I just want to refresh my screen. All right, let's see here. Okay, yeah, I got a good source here from Wall Street Engine. This is a solid information here. Let me post this. Yeah, see the EPS. Even though they beat the forecast EPS, the earnings per share is down 18% year over year. Investors are just not liking that. Let me go back to the candlesticks on trading view. I mean, it's not, it closed the regular session at 59.20. It's sitting at, okay, it's come back up a little bit. It's sitting at $59. So, yes, the year over year numbers aren't good, but they still beat most of the forecast. Let me post this on YouTube so everyone can see. Okay, so Cisco Q1 2025 highlights revenue 13.84 billion, estimate was 13.77 billion, so that was green, but down 5.6% year over year, like we were saying. EPS 0.91, forecast 0.87. So they did double beat EPS and revenue. Their year over year numbers kind of dragged them down for the initial reaction initial reaction was kind of well, this first candle here, when it wicked up to 62, that was before the data was out. And when the data actually came out, you had the initial bearish reaction, but now it's coming back up. So kind of like what I said, I think people were taking that little initial selling there as a discount, possibly. Let's go over some of this information here. Okay, we just move this over a little bit. So we went over revenue, we went over EPS, fiscal year guidance. So they did increase the fiscal year 2025 guidance. They said 55.3 billion to 56.3 billion. Forecast was 55.8 billion. So they increased on the high side to 56.3. So that was an adjustment upwards. And EPS, the fiscal year 2025 guidance, EPS forecast was 3.57, and they adjusted that upwards to 3.6 to 3.66. So fiscal year 2025 guidance increased up, double green circles there. Q2 guidance for next year, revenue 13.75 billion to 13.95 billion. The previous forecast was 13.7 billion, so they increased guidance for Q2. Q1 segment revenue, again, down 9.2% year over year. Networking down 23% year over year. Security is kind of saving them there, up 100% year over year. Collaboration down 3% year over year. Observability, I think that's a typo. That's supposed to be a green circle because that's up 36% year over year. So strategic updates and business commentary, product orders increase. I think we already talked about that. Farouk says, I hate Cisco. Now, this is one that it's stable overall. I mean, it's been consolidating for so long, and which is a good thing. The more stable the stock is, we see that a lot with the better, consistent, strong fundamental companies like Coca-Cola is a slow mover. Cisco is a slow mover. Stuff like that. Close acquisitions of Deep Factor and Robust Intelligence, enhancing capabilities in security and AI. Couple notes from the CEO. We are seeing strong customer investments in critical infrastructure for AI, placing Cisco in a new unique position to leverage this demand. And some commentary from the Chief Financial Officer. Our results showcase disciplined execution and a strategic focus on high growth areas, contributing to robust margins and order momentum. Capital allocation, quarterly dividend 40 cents per share, payable on January 22nd. And the share buybacks, definitely a positive thing there. 40 million shares repurchased at 49.56 per share. And they still have 3.2 billion remaining approved for the buyback. So still got a long ways to go for this buyback to be completed, which is only going to help the stock price. Let me move this back over for a second. BNGO. Let me just flip to it just for a second because that was the other one we were looking at. Again, it's a penny stock, super high risk, biotech company. Obviously, all the biotech companies, therapeutic companies, pharmaceutical companies. Those are all going to be very, very high risk stocks. It just takes one smack in the face from FDA And these things will lose 50% overnight. So I usually only day trade these kind of things. I would never hold something like this in my longer term portfolio. So let's go to BNGO and see. I'm not seeing any data on BNGO yet. Let's see here. Okay, yep, here we go. Trading view. They didn't give us much info, but they reported a loss in Q3. You see that a lot with the biotech companies because they don't really have any revenue, while they're working on their products and whatever deal they're doing, you know. So they took a loss, which was expected. They lost 44.2 million in the third quarter. Let's talk about some other things here with BNGO, and then I'll go back to Cisco. Cisco looks like it clawed back from that initial bearish reaction, so it's basically back. It's actually positive in after hours now, so that's good. Again, it closed the regular session at $59.20. Now it's trading at 59, almost 59.40. We may get a trend day out of this tomorrow, perhaps. Let me see the daily chart. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this thing has been at 80 bucks before. We go monthly chart. Ooh, monthly chart. There we go. Still got room to move. I mean, take into consideration when they were at $80, that was, that was 24 years ago. That was in 2000. Jeez. But they've been steadily going up since then. Kind of sloppy price action here, but nonetheless, still kind of making higher lows. This is the monthly chart. And this was trading back in June of this year. It was trading at 46, and every single month since then has been a green month. So yeah, I think with their share buyback still in play, they haven't even put a dent into that. They still, again, they repurchased 40 million in shares. They still got 3.2 billion worth of buybacks to do. So this is, I like Cisco long term. Q3 2024 revenue. Now I'm going to talk about BNGO just for a second. Let me just move this over here. Q3 2020. A lot of this stuff is stuff we're already going to know because we know biotech companies don't really have revenue. So their revenue was 6.1 million, which comprises of 6.6 million in core product and software sales. Okay, so they do have a little bit of revenue, which is offset by 0.5 million because of write-down of aged receivables tied to discontinued clinical service products. Q3 2024 revenue represents a 35% decrease from same time last year. Total installed base of 368 optical genome mapping (OGM) systems as of Q3 2024, which represents a 22% increase over same time last year. So they're saying, I guess this is one of their products that they did have a 22% increase year over year on the OGM systems. However, the total revenue decreased by 35%. So sold 7,835 nano channel array flow cells in Q3 2024, which represents a 27% increase. Conference call is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern for BNGO. That's in 8 minutes. So if anyone wants to get on the conference call with BNGO, that's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. Let's go back to Cisco. That's why everyone's here. So yeah, that reminds me, Ford, anyone who's been trading Ford, they just had their ex-dividend date on the 7th, which was last Thursday. I had a few hundred shares of it on Wednesday. I still have the shares. So you needed to own the shares by last Thursday to get the dividend. And the actual payout of the dividend, I believe, is Monday, December 2nd is when you get the cash, okay? I'm going to go back intraday chart on Cisco. Yeah, I mean, it sold off, retraced back up 100%. Now it's working on a red candle. Let's kind of see what happens. And I'm going to see, make sure I didn't miss any data here. Let's see. JD has earnings tomorrow pre-market. Appreciate the info there, Ninja, on Discord. Only one Jerry Maguire of trading. Cisco must hold above 57.84. It's the guidance, not the earnings. I mean, they increased guidance. They increased all of 2025 fiscal year, and I think it was Q1 or Q2 of next year was increased upwards. The earnings were fine. Maybe investors were thinking they would have increased the guidance a little more. Snowflake on Discord loves Ford. He trades Ford every minute of every day. I like Ford too. All right, so we got our initial reactions here. BNGO is just basically flat. Had volume of 4.59 million today, average 30-day volume 2.89. So the volume was there. It's just not moving. Cisco slightly green after hours. Okay, here's some good data on Alpha Sense. I'm gonna post here on YouTube. Make it a little more clear for everyone what the EPS and revenue was. Okay, Merrick on YouTube. What do you think about LUNR earnings? Yeah, let's take a look. Let's pull this up over here. Getting a nice pullback on Mera today. I'm kind of happy about that. No offense to the Mera bulls, but I've made a ton of money on this. I'm basically just wheeling Mera for the past basically all year, and I'm not currently holding any of it. So I was kind of waiting on a pullback to restart the wheel on this, and looks like I'm getting the pullback I was looking for. I'd like it below 20 again, and then I'll start wheeling it again. But anyways, let's look at LUNR. I'll keep Cisco. Excuse me. I'll keep Cisco on my top right screen. Take a sip of water. Okay. Let's look at LUNR. Request from YouTube. Intuitive Machines. Aerospace and Defense. Diversified space company focused on space exploration. Very interesting. Is a provider and supplier of space products and services that enable sustained robotic and human exploration to the moon, Mars, and beyond. Wow, this is like right out of a sci-fi novel. Its products and services are offered through its 4 business units: Lunar Access Services, Orbital Services, Lunar Data Services, and Space Products and Infrastructure. Sounds like a fun, exciting company. Was up 13% today on the regular session. EPS and PE negative, but you know, this is a space company, so might take them a minute to get those, some time to get those numbers up. Now they are a profitable company. That's nice to see. $2 billion. They, anywhere from 2 to 4 billion in profit. Now it has been, their net income has been declining, and year-over-year numbers are getting crushed a little bit. So just keep your eye on that. They bounced back a little bit from 1.89 to 2.16 billion. Debt to asset only 63%, so that's good. Financials aren't bad. They could be better, but again, it's a space company. What can you expect? I mean, this is like stuff we haven't explored yet, right? Let's just take a quick look though. I want to see LUNR. Okay, 64% odds that they beat estimate. Well, that was from the previous earnings, but forecast EPS negative 0.13. It's negative, but not too bad. Revenue 52.38 million, trading well above anchored VWAP, which is probably around 750 or so. I just want to see what they did on their last earnings. Let me just check on Cisco just for a second. Yeah, Cisco is still just, it's not catching a bid, y'all. I don't think it had anything to do with their EPS and revenue. I think it's maybe investors thought their guidance was going to be more than it actually was. Let me just jump back to LUNR for a question on YouTube. Looks like they do when they do beat EPS, they beat it a lot. Like these forecasts are way off. Last earnings, their forecast revenue or for forecast EPS was negative 0.18 and it came in at positive 0.24. So analysts were way wrong on that one. Price reaction one day after their past 4 earnings, kind of a mixed bag. Last time they were flat. In LUNR, they report earnings tomorrow pre-market. They were basically flat the last earnings. May 14th, the earnings before that, they were down 6%. March 21st, they were up 11%. So kind of a coin toss on what the reaction is going to be. But if I was to guess, I would think because the forecast is negative 0.12. I think they have a shot at having a positive reaction. Maybe analysts, you can see they lowered the forecast for the EPS from the previous earnings was negative 0.18. So negative 0.12 would be a lot easier to meet that forecast. Let's just take a look at the chart real quick. Daily chart. Yeah, they've been on a little rally, haven't they? Oh, look at these old Fibonacci's I have on here from back in the day. Delete those. But obviously, be watching the 1325 level. That's LUNR. We could just go back a little bit here. Okay, so they haven't really been listed on the exchanges for long, just a handful of years. But yeah, watch the $13 level for possible resistance. If it pulls back, I'd be watching $10 for support. Let's see here. Okay, thoughts on bonds from Nahush Patel on YouTube. I watch the 10-year yield basically every day. It's a nice little tool to use. 10-year yield been rallying right along with the US dollar is rallying. Doesn't happen all the time, but a lot of times when the 10-year yields rally and the dollar rallies, that's people taking money out of stocks and putting it into them. It's kind of a safe haven. When stocks are selling off, you'll see money pour into the US dollar and the 10-year. Though both of those have been rallying lately. I do think bonds is a good investment moving forward. I think we'll continue to see the bonds rise. And also just think of how overextended the markets have been lately. We're kind of due for a pullback, don't you think? And when that happens, money's going to be pouring into bonds. So Nahush Patel, get ready. As soon as the markets start pulling back, you're going to see the bonds yields appreciating. And as far as earnings, I don't really play positions through earnings unless it's a longer term position on a very good company. Then obviously I'm holding through the earnings. But when I'm swing trading and stuff like that, I try not to hold positions through the earnings. I'd rather play the reaction to the earnings and kind of ride the wave on the post reaction. And it doesn't matter if it's bullish or bearish. I'm not going to get caught in the earnings, and I'd rather just ride the wave afterwards, and that works out well. But yeah, keep your eye on the 10-year yields. They've been rallying with the US dollar lately. SPY, what is SPY doing today? Kind of choppy a little bit. It sold off at open, rallied a little bit, then sold off, little pump, then sold off. Kind of choppy. Now, again, kind of sloppy price action today. I wouldn't consider it a trend day. And of course, the whole those who are trading semiconductor stocks, semiconductors took a hit today. You can see clearly on the heat map. And it was interesting because the tech sector in as a whole was positive, I believe. Let me check my sector information. No, tech ended up being red on the day. They were green earlier today. They ended up being down 0.3%. Leading the pack, consumer discretionary, energy, followed by real estate, consumer staples, all sectors nice and green there. At the bottom of the pack, utilities, healthcare, and tech. So this isn't really painting a clear picture for me. You know, you got a mixture of risk on and risk off, all just mixed in together. You know, usually when it paints a clear picture, you know, if it's a risk on day, you know, you'll see tech up top, consumer discretionary up top. And if it's a risk on day, you'll see the safe haven sectors at the bottom. You know, energy, real estate, consumer staple. And it's just kind of just a mixed, kind of a sloppy day today. And again, semiconductors took a pretty good hit today. Intel was the only quote unquote semiconductor company that was green today. Everything else took a pretty good hit. NVIDIA was down, AMD was down, AVGO, TXN, QCOM, MU. But that's semiconductors is just a piece of the tech sector. Software did really well today. Consumer electronics, Apple was green today. But overall, semiconductor the semiconductor part of the tech sector did bring down tech today. So end of the day red, but not really a clear picture on whether we're risk on or risk off right now. Everything's just all mixed in together. I don't really like that. It's kind of not a clear picture. But I did want to remind everyone tomorrow's a big day. Okay, maybe that's why today was a little sloppy. You know, maybe that's why today was just really sloppy, because tomorrow is a big day. We got initial jobless claims in the morning, followed by the producer price index, which is inflation data that the Feds want to see. So initial jobless claims, PPI, and then we have Powell speaking at 3. Kind of an unusual time. Usually he does his press conferences Wednesday at 2:30 Eastern. This week, you know, he's speaking on Thursday at 3. So whatever that's about. But tomorrow's like a triple whammy day. So I think if there's a day this week that we're going to get a market move in the overall markets, it's going to be tomorrow morning, and maybe all day tomorrow, because we could get a move tomorrow morning with initial jobless claims and PPI, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. There could be a move there, and then we might get a secondary intraday move at 3 o'clock when Powell speaks to close the regular session. So please, 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 everyone, be careful. Hedging can be your best friend now. I do that a lot. People in the Discord know I do that a lot. I sell to open a lot of options on a weekly or monthly basis. But, you know, if there's uncertainty or anything like that, I like to buy longer dated put options. That's the simplest way to hedge. Just buy a longer dated put option. Of course, your strike price and expiration date will matter. But if you want to know more about how to select those, come see me in the Discord. I go by the Swinging Bull in Discord. It's PB Alerts. There's a link in the description too. If anyone's looking for a new home, come hang out with us. We live trade every day. Our main day trader, his name's Ethan. He trades the first hour or two of the day and just hammers it out. Get the money in the morning, and then boom. Go enjoy the rest of your day with friends and family. So if you're a day trader with options, you're going to go see Ethan in our group. If all you do is swing trade stocks, you're going to see Lee, and his Discord's name is Mad Maverick, and that's basically all he does is swing trade stocks and equities. He does dabble in options, and he's pretty good at that as well. If you're a technical analysis trader and you join our group, you're going to go see Jay, Coach Jay. Probably best technical analysis trader I've ever met. And then, of course, myself, Swinging Bull, I do the more advanced multi-leg option strategies. This year, my bread and butter And the most consistent and profitable strategy I've done all year has been the wheel strategy. Very simple. Selling cash secured puts to enter the stock, and then we sell covered calls to get out of the stock. I've also done some buy plus write strategies. More specifically, if the company pays a dividend, go back to the sticks real quick and see what CSCO is doing. Yeah, they're still basically flat. So, not really getting a reaction out of either one of these stocks for earnings. CSCO's flat, BNGO is basically flat. So, and what was the expected move? Oh, here's CSCO right here. Expected move on CSCO for Friday's expiration is plus or minus $3.50 a share. Kind of keep that in mind. It's not a for sure thing, but use it as maybe a guide. So I kind of figured the expected move wasn't going to be much because CSCO's not really a big mover, which is kind of a good thing for you long-term investors out there. Long-term investors don't want a lot of volatility. They'd rather just have a slow grind up, It's boring, but it's good, it's safe. So only a $3.50 move, expected move on CSCO for Friday's expiration is being priced in right now. What's BNGO? BNGO, yeah, basically 0.02. But it's funny because BNGO it's trading at what, 26 cents, 27 cents. So I mean 0.02, that's about almost 10% move there. 350 move on CSCO. You kind of do the math on that. Just take 350 divided by the share price. I'll just call it $59. So it's like a 5 or 6% expected move on CSCO. Obviously, we haven't gotten the move yet. It's sitting here flat. So just keep your eye on it. This is a good thing for the CSCO bulls. Yeah, I understand it's not going to the moon right now, but hey, it's not selling off either. So, of course, those holding options, there's a different scenario because you got to fight theta and stuff like that, and it's just going to depend on your strike price and what expiration date you chose. When I trade options, I like to go in the money with the options. The reason being is because when you're in the money, if your strike is in the money, you're not going to get hurt by theta as bad, and the deltas are way better. So if you can afford it, not everyone can afford to buy in the money options, but if you're going to buy options, buying in the money is probably the better way to go. But again, some of these bigger dollar stocks, $300, $400, $500 share price stocks, obviously those options at the money or in the money are going to be pretty dang expensive. But that's when you can just whip out a spread, form a spread, decrease the capital needed to participate in the options that are at the money or in the money. Just form a spread, and you can cut your buying power needed probably by 75% or more by doing the spread. So if you want to learn more about that, come see me in the Discord. I teach people how to trade these advanced options all the time. I do a lot of iron condors, butterflies and iron flies, inverse iron condors, debit spreads, credit spreads, you name it. I've done it, and that's how I trade. But like I say, the strategy that's made me the most money this year has been the wheel strategy, and we've just been killing it this year. It's been a lot of fun, a lot less stress. If you're sick of the rat race trying to day trade every day, I know that stuff gets old, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to be a good day trader. It just kind of depends on the personality you have, and there are different ways to trade that could match your personality a lot better. For me, I'm a pretty busy guy over here in Florida with some brick and mortar businesses that I have over here. So I can't really watch the screen 24/7. So that's why I prefer the wheel strategy, and I target weekly and monthly income and manage the trades every now and then, but it doesn't require me to be glued to the screen 24/7. So that it just works better for me, and the return on capital is great. And over the past several years, my average return on the wheel strategy has been 20 to 30% a year. So, beating the S&P annual average by 2x, sometimes 3x. And it's a lot of fun. Of course, picking the correct underlying is very important when doing that. You can't just wheel any old stock, make sure it's a company you don't mind owning. Take a little deep dive into their income statements and balance sheets and make sure everything's square there, and then you'll be just fine. You'll be okay. All right, let me just make sure I didn't miss anything on Discord. Almost 4:45 p.m. It's been about 45 minutes. Almost 500 people tuned in. Yeah, so good hanging out with y'all. I always have fun just kind of chatting and giving you my opinions about things, and hopefully some of the things I say resonate with some people, and maybe some of the things I say help solidify something you were already thinking. That happens a lot, and that's good. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Though it's been fun. It's been 45 minutes, and like I said, if you're looking for a new home, check the link in the description. You can join the group for free. That doesn't cost you any money. Just join the free section, see how you like it, and if you like it, go from there. But we got lots to do. We do so many different types of trading in the Discord that there's something for everyone. But with that said, I hope everyone has a great night. And I'll see everyone in the next stream. And if you do join the group, I definitely look forward to meeting you. Swinging Bull, PB Alerts, signing off. Have a great night.